Greetings to all of you and welcome to the continuation of our AWS Solution Architect program. We had some pause, but I'm happy to announce that we are continuing our program and we are going to continue right to the end this time around. So we are going to continue with our S3 bucket. Okay, we are going to continue with our S3 bucket. In our last lesson, we actually created an S3 bucket, and we saw how we could version the S3, the objects that are found in our S3 bucket, and we saw how you could stop somebody from accessing your S3 bucket, and how you could actually control the types of objects that goes to your S3 bucket. So this is the service called S3 bucket. So to give you a recap, let us just try to see if we can have a recap of what an S3 bucket is. We said in our last class that S3 bucket is a storage service in AWS. It's a storage service in AWS where your objects can be stored, and the objects that are stored in S3 buckets are unstructured data. We actually talked about unstructured and structured data in our last session. Okay, now S3 bucket can store unlimited amount of objects. You can store unlimited amount of objects in an S3 bucket. So you have your S3 bucket of this nature. It is always drawn in the shape of a bucket generally. So you have your S3 bucket, you are storing everything in your S3 bucket. All right, so the bucket is found in AWS, so you can store it's just like a hard drive where you can store any of your things inside and then you access. All right, so let's look at our project for today. We are going to see how it is possible to host a website using an S3 bucket. Okay, since S3 bucket is a storage device, can we host a website using S3 bucket? We are going to see, and we are going to see the type of website that you can host using S3 bucket. We are going to look at the various storage class of S3. What are the storage class? We are going to talk about what is storage class actually, and then we look at the various storage class. We are going to talk about replication, and then we are going to finish with transfer acceleration. Okay, so this is our agenda for today's session. So the first thing is we are going to talk about static website hosting. It is quite fortunate for us that we are coming from the DevOps training, where our last project was hosting a website. So we are going to take that very website that we hosted in our last project and see how we can host that website in S3 bucket. Okay, we are going to host that website in S3 bucket. So the first thing I want you to know is what are the type of websites that are hosted on S3 bucket. Please, you don't host any type of website in an S3 bucket. The only website that you can host is a static website, and the static website is the website that should not contain any images. No images are displayed on your S3 bucket website. No images are displayed, so your static website should not contain images. So if you have a website that just presents text information to people, you can host that type of a website in an S3 bucket. But if your website has images, you cannot host it on S3. I want to be very specific here. Don't go and carry somebody's website with very good images and say you want to host them on S3 bucket. You will not succeed. Okay, you are going to host the website that is static and does not have images. I'm stressing here very well. All right, so let's see how you can host a website on S3 bucket. First, we have to start by creating our bucket. Let's go to our website, our S3 service. So to come to your S3, so you just come to services, and then you look for S3 here, or it is already here, or you can also type S3 up here. You will search for it, and you will see your S3 bucket. That is your S3 bucket. You click on your S3 bucket and then you come to the S3 service. Okay, here we are in our S3 bucket service. Now you click on create bucket. Now in the situation of hosting a website, you have to give the name of your bucket to be the name of the website. So the name of your bucket should be the domain name that you have bought from any hosting site. It could be Route 53, that is Amazon. It could be GoDaddy. It could be any website providers. You have to give your S3 bucket name to be the domain name of your website. All right, so let us just take a name like lawheroes.com. all right, so that is the name of our website, lawheroes.com. okay, so we are creating our bucket in the region US East 1, that is in North Virginia. So you can change the region, but S3 is a global service, so it will be available in all the regions. Okay, the next thing that we need to do is we have to enable ACL. all right, let us enable ACL so that we have access control in our hands. Okay, we allow the object to be for the owner, the bucket to be for the owner, please. And then since it is a website that we are hosting, we should unblock public access so that people can have access to our website. They will ask you if you know what you're doing. You say yes, you know what you are doing, because if you don't unblock, this one means when you say block all public access, you click this, that means it is going to block any public access to your bucket. So you have to untick this one so that public access should be accessible to your bucket. Okay, so you come down, you can enable your versioning. You come down. I think that is all you need to do, and then you create your bucket. Your bucket is created. Okay, when your bucket is created, the next thing is this is a bucket. That is what you have just done, is you have created this bucket like this. All right, you have created a bucket. So now in our case, we want that this bucket should be hosting a website. So what can we do with this bucket for it to host a website? What we can do with this bucket for it to host a website is we have to enable static website hosting. Okay, we have to enable static website hosting. So how do we enable static website hosting? You click on your bucket, and then you go to properties. When you go to properties, you come right down. You will see static website hosting here. All right, you see by default static website hosting is disabled, so you are going to click on edit. When you click on edit, then you go to enable static website hosting. Okay, when you click on enable static website hosting, there are going to be two texts that will be asked from you. The first one is index.html. What is index.html? Generally, it is mostly always called index.html, but you can write it any name. Okay, the index.html is the page that is going to welcome you in your website. That means when somebody click your website, heroes.com, which page is he going to land on? He is going to land on the page index.html. You can name the page in anything, but whatever name you give to that page, to that file, you put that name here. So in our case, our own file is, we are going to still use the same code that we used for our last program. That is the the law website that we used, we are going to use that same code, and in that code, the welcoming page, the file there is named index.html. I will show you the file. Now, what is error.html? Error.html, they say it is optional. It is a file in which if you write the website / a particular link and that particular link is not available on your website, then your website will direct that traffic to this particular page. All right, the page can be named anything, but we name it error.html. Do we have the page error.html? Let's go to our code. Actually, I prepared the code. Let's see. The code is found in S3 website. Okay, this is the code. This code, we all know this code, right? This is the website that we have deployed, and in this website we have index.html. This index, okay, the file type is an HTML file. How do we know whether it is an HTML file or not? You can see it from here. Let us open it very well. This is index.html. You open from here, you see that it is an HTML document. Okay, so that is the index. So this is the file that welcomes everybody that comes to this website. But is there any error.html? There is no error.html. So can we create an error.html? Yes, we can create an error.html, and whatever thing we write on that error.html will be displayed when that mistake is done. So let us create an error.html and put to this code. How do we create an error.html? We can create an HTML file using we can create an HTML file using Notepad. It is possible to create an HTML file using Notepad. So let us do that. We just go open our Notepad. Now in our Notepad, we can create a file. So let us just put the file, maybe we make it a header, right? Put it a header, and then we write something like sorry, the link must have some errors. Okay, that is what we do. And then this is an HTML file. Now we have created an HTML file, so we save it as an HTML file. And what is the name of the file? We are going to save the file as error.html. We save it in our folder where we are having our code. So let's save the file as error.html, and then we change this to all files, and then we save. Now this file has been saved in our code. This is a file error.html. You see that it is already having the HTML logo, or the web browser logo. That means it is accessible through the website. Okay, now we have our two files, index.html and error.html. in our code. This is our code. So we have created our we have actually enabled website hosting, and we have created our two files, index.html and error.html is actually existing. So let us save our changes. Now what next? We have created this bucket. This bucket is already created. So the next thing now is put our website code in this bucket. Let's just put our website code in this bucket. So we just upload objects, come to objects, and then we come to upload. When you go to upload objects, you just come to add files. Okay, so you will be directed to just go to your machine and choose your files. So we are in projects, and our code is found in S3 bucket, S3 website. So this is our file. So we just choose everything here, and we upload. So our files have been uploaded to our website, and now they have been selected to be uploaded to our website, so we can upload. So our files are being uploaded. So we give them some time to upload. They are all together 25. What's the total file size? This is it up here that is uploading. So it will take some time to upload. The files are actually heavy. Okay, so the question now is, the files are uploaded. How are we going to have access to our files? If these files are uploaded, how are we going to have access to our files? Technically, we gave the name of our bucket as heroes.com, but of course we cannot use heroes.com to access our website, because heroes.com have not been registered as a domain. So but if you are in the field, if you are in the real world, you will use heroes.com to access your website, because it will be a registered domain and it will be accessible to everybody. So but this time around, we are not going to use the endpoint heroes.com. We are going to use the S3 endpoint to have access to our website. All right, so let us wait for our folders to, we technically have almost 4 minutes remaining for our folders to upload. So while our folder is being uploaded, let us see our endpoint. Where is our endpoint? Let us open S3 service in another tab, so that this one should be uploading here, and we go to our bucket, right, and we come to the properties of our bucket. You go right down, you will see this link here. So if you click on this link here, if you open this link, this is going to be our endpoint. Okay, this is our endpoint to have access to our website. This one like this is our endpoint. So this is a link that is going to fall directly to our index.html. okay, 3 more minutes to go for us to have access to our website. Some people will ask the question, this website like this had images. This website is having images, and I'm talking about hosting websites which are not having images. So how will this website behave in our S3? All of us are going to see it. We are going to see how the website is behaving in S3 with the images. Okay, so let's be patient. We are remaining with 2 minutes to go. Okay, the website, the files have been uploaded successfully. So what do we do next? We come now to our endpoint. Remember how to arrive your endpoint. You come to properties, come and click on properties. Then you come down to your endpoint. You will see your endpoint here. So you copy your endpoint, and then you come and you paste and you access your website. Okay, so this is your website now, accessible. Your website is accessible. Can you see any image on your website? No, there is no image on your website. The website is only text that is displayed for you. But you can tour your website. You can actually go to everywhere. You see practices, you can go to agreements, you will see everything, divorce, everything. The website is, you can navigate the website. But the problem with this website is that it is not supposed to have any image. It's a static website, so it does not accept any images. All right, so if you have a website that just has images on it, you can actually use S3 to host that website. All right, now let's see how that error.html works. Now when you are here, if you put slash something that is not actually in this website, like slash up here, when you see slash news.html, that means it is a page that is found inside the HTML code. There is a page called news.html. If we come to the website code, we will find a page called news.html. This is the page news.html, right? If we want to maybe go to somewhere like let's say practices, you see that it comes to practices.html. If we come to the website, we will see something called practices.html. This is it. But if I come now and I put slash 1u.html, is there any 1u.html here? There is none. Okay, if I put it like that, there is no 1u.html here. So when I press enter, instead of the website to go nuts, the website is going to show me that file that we created. Sorry, the link must have some errors. So that is the use of errors.html. So you see the website S3 carries us directly to our error handler. This is actually called an error handler in S3 bucket. Okay, so that's it about website hosting. There is not much you can do with this type of website. So might be it's just a website that can serve for some few purpose, and after that it is gone. But this is not actually a practical way for you to host websites, professional websites actually, because websites will always need you to present some images, present some photos, some graphics and all the like. Okay, so in order to delete this website, this website, how should we go about it? So let us delete it. You first of all have to come to your objects. Remember, there is a website, there is a bucket, and the content of this bucket is what is the website. So you have to, and that is what is called the object. There's the bucket and there is the object. So we have to first of all come inside here and delete the object, because if we try to delete the bucket directly, it will refuse from being deleted. So let's come to the bucket and we click on the bucket and we say delete. You see the bucket will tell you that this bucket is not empty. So in order to delete the bucket, you have to first of all delete the inner objects. So let us delete the inner objects. Now I can just come here and I click on all the objects and I go to delete, right? Remember we talked about how to delete all these objects. Okay, and I come to delete, I type delete, then I delete objects. I have deleted these objects. Okay, but if I come to delete now my bucket, it will not delete because these objects are just deleted and they can be retrievable. So if I go out to my bucket and I say buckets and I say delete this bucket, it will not delete. It will tell me that my bucket is not empty. Why is it telling me that my bucket is not empty? Because I've just deleted the objects, but the objects can be retrievable. And for me to delete the object to be such a way that the objects can no more be retrievable, I have to come to empty bucket configuration. We come to empty buckets, and then you have to delete now permanently. You must delete now permanently. When you delete now the objects permanently, these objects can never be retrievable again from this bucket. Okay, now when I've finished this, I can go now to my bucket, and then I can delete my bucket. How to delete my bucket? I copy. You have to give the name of the bucket to show that you really want to delete the bucket. They don't want you to do anything by error. So you know what you're doing, and my bucket is deleted. That is how you delete a bucket. So our first objective is made. We have hosted a static website. All right. The second objective is going to be talking about storage class. All right, talking about storage class, we are going to mainly do this mostly theoretically. Storage class, this is your bucket that we have in AWS. This is a bucket that we can create in AWS. Let us say that this is a bucket that we can create in AWS. This is a bucket that we can create. Now, where AWS makes its money is that it is going to segment this bucket. It is not just the bucket is not just an empty bucket where you just come and you put things inside in anyhow you want. No, that's not how the bucket is. The bucket has different levels of storage. That means there are different places where you can store objects. Okay, you can decide to store the objects right inside down the bucket, or you can decide to store the objects up at the level of the bucket. So this is what we call storage class. We have, so I think there are 7 different storage classes. Let us go through the storage classes and see. This is our storage class. So what is storage class actually? What are storage class? Amazon S3 offers a range of storage classes designed for different use cases. When we upload our data into the bucket, then we can select different classes as per our requirement. So our storage classes are the different levels in which objects are stored. So in a layman's way, consider storage classes as how deep your object is found in the bucket. And when you consider how deep your object is found in the bucket, you will definitely just understand that if your object is found maybe here and somebody's object is found maybe here, who can have access to his bucket very fast? Of course, this person here will have access to his object very fast than this person here. So for you to have access to this place, you need some time for this object to be pulled out. But for somebody who is here, can easily have access to his object. Okay, so this bucket like this is segmented into what we call storage classes. This is the first storage class. This is a second storage class. This is a third storage class. The fourth storage class. The fifth storage class. The sixth storage class. I think there are 7 of them if I'm not mistaken, and the 7th storage class. Let us see the storage classes. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, there are 6 of them. The first one is S3 standard. Okay, so let us remove one of them. Okay, there are 6 different storage class. So our first storage class is called S3 standard. S3 standard. It's a standard tier. All right, so let us talk about S3 standard. S3 standard So we'll just go through all the standard. We have S3 standard, we have S3 intelligent tiering, we have S3 standard infrequent access, we have S3 one zone infrequent access, we have Glacier, we have Glacier deep archive. Okay, why will Amazon do all this? Segment your bucket into different storage classes. Why would they do all this? Of course, it is capitalism. It is for money. It is in order to make money from the buckets. Okay, so that they know that people need different kinds of data in different kinds of ways. So if your data is found on S3 standard, it will be available right up here. The data will be highly available. Anytime you can have access to the data very quickly, very fast as you can have access to the data. So let's see what S3 standard is telling us. So S3 standard says offers high durability, availability and performance. So you can have it very frequently. It features, it is a default storage class. If non-specified during upload, all your objects will be uploaded in the storage class standard. So when we are uploading objects, you discover that we were never selecting the storage class. Okay, so when you upload your objects to S3, the original or the default location storage class is the standard. You cannot just upload and then the bucket come right down. No, they will put it on the standard because the standard is the most expensive. It is where they make their money. So you are the one to know where you want to put your bucket and how you want to access your bucket. If you put your bucket here, you will make you pay more. Okay, so let's see what they say there. They say it is a default class if non-specified during upload, low latency and high throughput. So you have, what is the meaning of throughput? Throughput here means that the bucket has high available internet, so you can have access to the bucket, to the objects at any time when you want, used for streaming. Okay, it is designed for 99.99% availability and 99.9 to the 9th power durability. That means you have no fear that anything can happen to your object. Your object is safe. If we store 10,000 as 10 million objects with Amazon S3, we can on average expect to incur a loss of single object 1 every 10,000 years. That means if you have 10 million objects stored, you can expect to lose just 1 in every 10,000 years. That means they are just telling us that it is safe, that S3 standard is safe. Okay, now the use cases. S3 standard is appropriate for a wide variety of use cases, including cloud applications, dynamic websites, content distribution, mobile and gaming applications, and big data analytics. Okay, which means that what? Take for example, when Netflix has a movie. Let's take for the movie Avengers Endgame. When that movie came out, it was the blockbuster of the year. The whole world was trying to have access to that movie. Do you think that Netflix will take that movie and keep under here? No. Netflix will put the movie here. So everybody is having access to the movie. The movie is highly streamed all over the world. So Netflix puts the movie in standard. Okay. So S3 standard is the highest storage class that Netflix uses for new movies. Now take a movie like Jackie Chan, Drunken Master. Jackie Chan, they will send that movie, if actually it is available in Netflix, they will send it right down here, because the people that are accessing that movies are ancestors like us that still love old Jackie Chan movies. We will search and come and remove the movies from the bottom. Okay, so that is how they use it. And when movies are here, they pay less. You pay very less for movies that are here than movies that are up here. Okay, now we have the next class, that is the use case. The use case is Amazon. Okay, whether Netflix, please. So the next class is S3 intelligent tiering. So we have this one, S3 intelligent tiering. S3 intelligent tiering. So how does this one functions? S3 intelligent tiering is the second storage after standard. Okay, so what does it do? They say it's the only cloud storage class that delivers automatic storage cost savings when data access patterns change without performance impact or operational overhead. So what is all this English trying to tell you here? You will be reading this English in your notes. You have it. What is this English trying to tell you? It's telling you that objects that are located in S3 standard, in S3 intelligent tier, have automatic balance, which means that what? If your object is in S3 by default, S3 intelligent tiering, what will happen? The object will stay there. If people are not accessing the object as they are supposed to be accessing, the object will drop down to the lower storage class. But if so many people are accessing the object will tell you that, well, we can drop up. You are the one to make that decision. Okay, the object can drop down. So this guy here saves you money by automatically understanding that the objects that are here are not being accessed. I can drop the objects down here. Okay, that's where they say automatic and dynamic cost saving. So the features of S3 is almost having the same features like the standard. Intelligent tiering storage class is designed to optimize storage cost. You see, that is its main thing. When it drops your object from up to down, it will minimize storage costs because your objects are there, no people are accessing it, so it has to be dropped down. It is also having the same durability and the same qualities like standard. Monitors access patterns of objects. So if objects have not been accessed for 30 consecutive days, it is going to drop the object. So that is the main capability of S3 intelligent tiering. It drops objects down. Okay, the next one is standard infrequent access. This is our next storage class, standard infrequent access. Infrequent access. So this is our third storage. Here, let us see what it gives us. S3 standard infrequent access is for data that is accessed less frequently but requires rapid access when needed. This says it all. So when your data is here, you know, it is data that is accessed. It is not always accessed all the times. It is accessed less frequently, but when it is needed, it should be accessible very fast, very fast. So which type of data can you think of that it is not always accessible all the times, but when it is needed, it should be brought up very fast? I can think of financial data. All right, like people who keep accounting data, they can store it, and then the data is there, your balance sheets are there, your income statements are there, but they are not always looked upon. But on a bright Sunday morning, your boss calls you and tells you that I need our balance sheet for the 2015. Can you please send it to me? I want to present it to somebody. There you have to have access to that balance sheet immediately to send to him. Okay, so that type of objects can be located in infrequent access. All right, they also have less cost because they are here, they are not always accessible, so they have less cost. So we have infrequent access. The key features: infrequent access storage class is used when data is accessed less frequently but requires rapid access when needed. It has a lower fee than S3 standard, but you will be charged for retrieval. So each time you remove data from infrequent access, they will charge you a fee. Each time you remove data, they will charge you a fee. Okay, suitable for objects greater than 128 kilobytes. So each object that you put it there, they will start charging you that the object is 128 kilobytes. So if you have an object that is less than 128 kilobytes, they will still charge you on 128 kilobytes. Okay, they charge for a minimum of 30 days. So your objects can be charged after 30 days of access. It still have the same durability and design capacity. Use cases: disaster recovery. Okay, so this type of place is where you can store your backup data for your company. Remember, in DevOps, for those who are coming from the DevOps training, we always say that data should be backed up all the time. So if you are backing your data to the cloud service, S3 infrequent access should be one of those places where this data should be backed up. It is backed up there, but it is never accessible. It will only be accessible on that disaster period. So it is the best place where you can back up your data. Okay, the next one but last, we have one zone infrequent access. So here we are with one zone infrequent access. One zone infrequent access. So this is a place where the typical characteristic of this storage class is that it is one zone. All this one, S3 standard, S3 intelligent tiering, infrequent access. When you store the objects are available in all your three availability zones. Okay, which means you can store the object in one availability zone and access it from another availability zones. Okay, the objects are available in three different availability zones. But when you store your object in one zone infrequent access, the object is available only to one availability zone. Okay, only to that particular one availability zone. You must be there to access the object. So that is the drawback of this zone. Okay, it can also be used for secondary data access. Let us see its key features. Access storage class is used when data is accessed less frequently but requires rapid access. So it also has rapid availability. Optimal choice for less frequent access data but does not require the availability of standard or standard infrequent access storage class. Okay, designed for 99.5, so it is less durable. The other ones were designed for 99.99, but this one is designed for 99.5, and availability is also high there. Suitable for objects greater than 128. Tasks you are being charged from 30 days upward, so you should make sure that you are putting objects that are really not frequently accessible there. And S3 lifecycle management for automatic migration of objects to other S3 storage classes. We'll come to lifecycle manager later on. Okay, and data can be lost at the time of the destruction of an availability zone, which means that since it is stored in only one availability zone, if that availability zone is destroyed, the data is destroyed. Use cases: storing secondary backup copies of on-premises data and storing data you cannot recreate. You can recreate, please, not you cannot. You can recreate the data. All right. So we go to one but last, actually, S3 Glacier. S3 Glacier storage class is the cheapest storage class, but it can be used for archives only. When we store any object of data at a lower cost than other storage class, we can upload the objects directly to the S3 Glacier. So with S3 Glacier, what you do is you upload objects that really are going to take time for you to ever have access to. Like in Cameroon, we have the OHADA principle that says that you must keep financial data for at least 10 years before you destroy them. So those financial data that should be kept for at least 10 years before destruction can be kept at S3 Glacier. Right? It is less frequently accessible but must be kept for 10 years. You can keep it there. All right. So you will read about how it can be accessible. You can access it in different ways. This is still what I called money making tactics. So if you want to access the object, you can have 3 different ways of accessing it: expedited way, standard way, and bulk way. So you can access it for 1 to 5 minutes, you can access it for 3 to 5 hours, you can access it for 5 to 10 hours. So it depends. If you're accessing it for 5 to 10 hours, you pay more. Accessing it for 3 to 5 hours, you pay lesser. Accessing it for 1 to 5 minutes, you pay more cheaper. So this is all capitalism. So we have the last object, which is the object storage class, which is S3 Glacier Deep Archive. Here, that is the deepest part of our bucket down here, S3 Glacier. I'm sure objects that are kept here are objects that are going to be used in the next 10 years, and they are just stored for eternity. So suitable for objects greater than this. Smaller objects are charged for 40 KB. So if you put an object of 10 KB, it will be charged as if it is 40 KB. All right, so you know the type of objects that you are putting there. Lowest cost storage class, designed for long-term retention of data that will be retained for 7 to 10 years. Retrieval time within 12 hours. So if you want to retrieve data from that particular object storage class, you will wait for 12 hours before that data is available. It is 99.9 to the 5 power durability. Okay, support long-term retention and digital preservation. So this is the final one. So here I made some sort of a design for you to see pictorially what these objects are doing. So S3 standard, intelligent tiering, standard infrequent access, one zone infrequent access, glacier, and glacier deep. These are the various different types. You will see them in your notes. Okay, you can find out where you want to store your objects with respect to your company needs. So when they will ask you, why will you store an object in this particular storage class and not this particular storage class, you should be able to answer that question. Why should I store my object in standard and not in intelligent tiering? Why should I store in intelligent tiering and not in standard? Why should I store in infrequent access and not in standard or not in intelligent tiering? You should know the different characteristics of these storage classes in your S3 bucket. Okay, so with that we come to the end of S3 bucket storage classes, and so let us see how that functions in real life. So we create a bucket. By the way, we create a bucket. We name our bucket storage class, and storage class 1, 2, 3 just to make sure that nobody has that particular type of an object. And then we come to enable ACL, and then we come down to unblock that. We accept acknowledgement, enable versioning, and then we come down to everything looks good. We create our bucket. The bucket name is available. Okay, let us give storage class, no, let us just give storage underscore VTA bucket. I don't think anybody has that one. Bucket name contains invalid. Okay, let's remove underscore. Storage underscore VTA bucket. Okay, that goes. Let us create our bucket. Now our bucket is created, so let us upload an object into our bucket. So when we are uploading an object, we will not find anything like, let us go to images and we upload the index.html image. This is the one. Open. Now here you will not find anything like what you want to do, whether you are putting storage class or whatsoever. But when you come down now to properties, look at properties here. This is where you select your storage class. Properties. Okay, you see that specify storage class, encryption settings, tags and everything. Come down to properties here. Now when you are under properties, you see that automatically standard is selected. So here now you can select whether you are going for intelligent tiering, standard infrequent access, one zone infrequent access, glacier instant, or you are going to glacier deep. So you are the one now to decide which one you are going for. So let me select intelligent tiering. Okay, you can select intelligent tiering, and we are done for that. We upload our image. Our image is uploaded. Can we have access to this image? We should give access to the image. How should we give access to the image? Come to permission. It is our object, right? Let's go to our object. Click on your object and you go to permissions. And then you give your object, come to SEL control, I think our object is having public access to everyone, and we save, we acknowledge it, and we save. Let's see if we can access our object. For us to see whether we can access our object, we come to our bucket, our object URL. Where is our object URL? This is our object. So here is our URL. Let's see if we can access our file. What did I do? I copied the right thing. Sorry, copied the wrong thing. Okay, access denied. Our access has been denied. So how do we have access to this bucket? How do we have access to this object in our bucket? So you come to permissions, object permission, make public using ACL. Okay, make public using ACL, and you make public. When you make public using ACL, you come now here, you refresh, you can see your object. Okay, that is when you can now see your object. If you don't go to make public using ACL, you will not be able to see your object. So our object is available, and it is in what? Our object is in, not in standard, but is in infrequent access. Question: can we change the storage class of our object from infrequent access to standard? Can we do that? Let us see. we are in intelligent tiering. Can we change it from intelligent tiering? Let us see. We take our objects, where are we? Okay, we go to properties, storage class is our storage class. We edit our storage class. So here we have intelligent tiering. We can change it from intelligent tiering to standard. Okay, and we save. We have changed our storage class. Now our storage class now is intelligence tiering. Our object is still very much available. Okay, it's still very much available. All right, so that is it about storage class. I hope you have every information you need about storage class. We are going to our next topic, which is replication. That one is not much. We are here. Where are we? We are here. We have talked about storage class, so let us talk about replication. So replication in S3 is just a feature for backup. So with replication, what happens is that what simply happens with replication is that you always have your bucket, right? We always have our bucket like this. We have our bucket. Our bucket is available somewhere here, but they will always ask you in interview questions that what is your backup plan? What is your backup policy for your application in your company? What is your backup plan? Your answer will always be that I use replication of S3 bucket in my backup. So what is the meaning of that? It means that your application is receiving data in an your S3 bucket is receiving data from your application, but once this data enters this S3 bucket, it is replicated to another S3 bucket somewhere. So as data enters this S3 bucket like this, the data also goes to another S3 bucket and is kept there. So if this S3 bucket falls down, this other S3 bucket is having the same data. You get the point? So replication is just the aspect of putting data inside one bucket, but that data automatically arrives another bucket. So that is all we have to tell you about replication. So let's see how it functions, or let's see how it is theoretically. We have simple storage service replication is an elastic, fully managed, low-cost feature that replicates objects between buckets. With S3's replication, we can configure S3 to automatically replicate S3 objects across different AWS regions. So we can have cross-region replication, as well as we can have single region replication, as well as we can have different account replication. So there are different types of replication that you can have. Okay, so let's see how this functions. So normally we need two buckets. We have to create two buckets and then perform our replication. Let's go back to our S3. So we have the first bucket. This bucket was already destroyed. So we have buckets. We have one bucket that has one it has one public object. So let's create another bucket. We create another bucket. We give this one bucket 2. Bucket 2 VTA. Now ACL enabled. Unblock storage access. Accept. For this one, versioning must be enabled. You must enable versioning. Without versioning, you cannot do this. So I have enabled versioning, and I create a bucket. So we have two buckets now, right? The first bucket is this one, and then the second bucket is this one. All right, now we want to enable replication in this bucket. How do we enable replication in this bucket? I open the bucket, I go to management. Under management, I will then come down, I will see replication. I have to create a rule for that. Okay, create a replication rule. You give a rule for your replication, replica rule VTA. That's my rule name. Should I have some characters like this? Let me just remove this character. Then choose whether the rule will be enabled or disabled when created. It will be enabled. When I just create the rule will be enabled. Source bucket. Which bucket will be your source bucket? Okay, choose a rule. Limit the scope of this rule using one or more filters. I don't want to limit anything. Apply to all objects. Okay, apply to all objects that are in my bucket, because you could limit your rule that I want just some particular files to be replicated, but I want all files to be replicated. Then I come to my destination bucket, right? So here is my source bucket, bucket to VTA. Should I want to do this one to be my source bucket? This was not the bucket I wanted to be my source bucket. Let us come to our buckets. Let's see something, please. Come to your source bucket and you will see something. These are my buckets. I want the first bucket to be our first bucket that we created, this one, and then the second one should be the second bucket that we created. So let us see. Let's refresh. So my first bucket should be the first bucket that we created, and the second bucket should be this one. So I'm not supposed to do this in this order to create a rule in the second bucket. I want to create a rule but in the first bucket. Okay, so I am canceling this. We come back to buckets. I'm taking but the first bucket that we created. Which was the bucket that we created first? Okay, actually we created this one first. Storage VTA bucket is the one that we created first. So I click it, I come to management, then I come to create rule, and I have replica rule VTA. I enable the rule to be active immediately at creation. Then I come down to, this is my bucket that I want to be the source bucket, and I apply to the whole bucket. Then I go now to my destination bucket, choose whether the bucket is found in a different account. So the bucket should be found in a different account, right, or in this account. So if I choose different account, they will ask me for the account ID. Your account ID is always located somewhere up here. You see your account ID. When you click up here, this is your account ID located here. So you put that account ID and then you put the bucket name. But my own bucket is found in this particular account. Okay, so they'll ask me to put the bucket name. So what is my bucket name? My bucket name is, destination bucket should be bucket 2. I copy my bucket name, I come here, I paste the, so they have seen the bucket. It is okay. I could still browse from here and I'll see the bucket here. Okay, and I choose path directly. Okay, IAM rule. We'll come to IAM rule. We are going to come to IAM rule. So just click existing rule, create new rule. Okay, choose from existing rule and create new rule. When we come to IAM, you understand this. And then encryption, we'll come to encryption, destination storage class. So you can choose your destination storage class. You can change which storage class it is going to replicate into. Okay, so you can change the storage class here. We just finished doing storage class, so you know your destination storage class. Now, additional replication rules. There are some rules that are here, and this rule only eats your money. They ask you that, do you want to replicate the object within just 15 minutes? Just immediately you are putting the object, it is being replicated. You will choose it. Do you want a replication matrix? With replication matrix, you can monitor the total number and size of objects that are pending replication. That means this one is just like a board that will be showing to you that these are the buckets that are replicating. This is how many that are remaining to replicate. This is how many that are finished replicating. You can choose to see all that data. Delete marker replication. When you delete the bucket the first time, there will be delete marker. Okay, so they are asking you whether you want that delete marker replication to be present or not. And then replication modification synchronization. So you have replica data changes and everything. They will synchronize it with your destination bucket. If the more you choose these ones, the more you pay. So you should know actually whether you really need it before you choose it. Your company will tell you whether they need it or not. So you take time and explain all this to your company, that if you choose this is the meaning. If you choose this is the meaning. If you choose this is the meaning. So your company will tell you whether they need it or not. So this is all accounting purposes. So, but I am not going to choose any of this. I am saving. Submit. They say existing objects. Do I want to replicate existing objects that are there? Yes, I want the object that is there to be replicated. There is an object in my source bucket, right? That object that we just uploaded, it is there, so I want it to be replicated. I submit. So right now, what we should want to see now is that what the object that is in this bucket should also be found in this bucket without us putting it there. That is a point of truth. Let us see that point of truth. We go to our buckets. This is our first bucket, this is our second bucket. So let's see if the second bucket is having any object. So we wait for some time to see if the object is going to be uploaded also in this bucket. If the object doesn't upload in this bucket, our work has failed. We should find out why. So we give it some time. We keep refreshing and give it some time. And while giving it some time, let us upload a bucket in our first bucket. Let us just do an upload a bucket here, an object here, please. Upload an object, a file. Let's upload this lady, the bride, and set the permissions. Public grant. Yeah, okay with that. Upload. So we have uploaded a new object, right? We have uploaded a new object. So there is a bride and there is a family large. So we are expecting that sometime, somehow, those two objects will appear here. Let us give them some time and see. So that this is bucket replication. So it might take some time. It might take some time for replication to be achieved. So we go ahead with our next lessons while waiting for our replication to be achieved. Let's see if we can access our bucket, our object, not our bucket. This one, can we access you? Yeah, we have access to it. So we are expecting our replication rule to function. Let us see. Let me cross-check the rule, please. Let us cross-check the rule. Have we done something gagarish? Let us see our rule. This is our, where's our replication rule? This is our rule name. Replication rule, status disabled. Okay, we had something like status disabled. Enable replication rule. Okay, our rule is enabled. And what is our source bucket? Our source bucket is storage VTA. And what is our destination bucket? Our destination bucket is bucket 2 VTA. Okay, we have, it looks like our bucket status was not enabled. So let us see now if everything works and our bucket, our objects are replicating. We go to bucket 2 and we see what is happening. Not yet replicating. We keep waiting for some time. While waiting, we upload another bucket, another object, and see. Upload it, this one, and we grant public permission. And we acknowledge. And upload. Okay, we go to our buckets. We should be seeing some bucket objects. So while we wait for our objects to be uploaded here, remember we were told that if we take Glacier, it will upload within 15 minutes. So we go to our next topic, which is what is our next topic? Transfer acceleration. For transfer acceleration, it is just a simple I'll explain to you transfer acceleration so that you should understand. Generally, you can be walking from a place, say Cameroon in Africa, and your company is found in a place, say the United States of America. I mean, if you look at the world map, it is a huge far distance. Let us try to see what I'm talking about. If we look at the world map, and we are trying to look at if Presently this one will certainly show Paris where I am. So let us try to see the map from a globe. This is at least I can zoom out here. Okay, look at, you are here in Africa. You are here in Africa working for a company. Let's say you are here in Cameroon working for a company, and that company is situated somewhere in the United States here. I mean, it is a long distance. Look at United States, Africa, right? It is not like Africa, Europe, that is very near, but United States, Africa is far. So you are working for a company, you are in Africa, you are working for a company in the United States. Now your job is that after the day you are going to upload all the files that you have worked on. You are going to upload it to the company's database, which is found in the United States. Now you have a problem. Each time you don't have a very stable data. We know that in Africa we don't have a very stable data. Each time you want to upload, at one moment internet cuts off, and when internet cuts off you have to start back again and start uploading. When you want to upload, internet cuts off, you have to start back again and be uploading. So AWS is aware of that, and it brings what we call transfer acceleration. So what is transfer acceleration actually talking about? Transfer acceleration actually says that AWS has created some cache centers. Okay, they have created some cache centers. Now the bucket is found in the United States here. You are somewhere in Africa here. Now what you will do is, when you want to upload, your documents are not going to be uploaded directly to the United States bucket. They are going to be uploaded to a cache center here. Okay, let us read what it is telling us. They say it is a means that can speed up content transfer to and from Amazon S3 by as much as 50 to 500% for long distance transfer of large objects. When we enable transfer acceleration, takes advantage of when enabled, transfer acceleration takes advantage of Amazon CloudFront. CloudFront is a service, okay, and data will be transferred to edge locations. Okay, data will be transferred to edge locations. So these are edge locations. Amazon has edge locations. Edge locations are actually some data centers that are closest to you. So while you are in Africa trying to upload your data to the United States, your data will be sent first of all to South Africa. That is where the AWS edge location is found, I think. And then from there now, it will be available in that edge location and cached there. So whenever there is internet availability, the data will go directly now to your bucket in the US. So how do we enable transfer acceleration? So in order to enable transfer acceleration, you just need to enable it for that particular bucket. Okay, you just need to come to your bucket, you click on your bucket, and then you go to your properties. You go to your properties, you then come down to transfer acceleration. Presently it is disabled. Okay, so you just come to enable, edit and enable, and when you come to enable, you save. Now you don't need to do any other thing. This is just all what you have to do in order to enable transfer acceleration. So if they ask you that, which way, if they ask you in an interview question that how can you make transfer of data to an AWS cloud more fast, you can say you use transfer, you enable transfer acceleration, which takes use of CloudFront. Okay, we did CloudFront in our past training, so in one of our videos. So you go back and you look at CloudFront, how it works. So transfer acceleration takes advantage of the service CloudFront and then uses edge location to transfer your data very fast to your location. All right, So that is transfer acceleration. It uses edge location. Any questions should be sent to our WhatsApp forum, and if there is need, I'll answer all those questions. Okay, so let's check our replication if it is okay and functioning. We should have okay. Data has been replicated, so one of our data has been replicated. Okay, so we have our children GPG that has been replicated. So it has been replicated. Data that has been replicated is the one that is added, not the one that was already there. Okay, so we needed to enable replicate data that was already there before replication was enabled. So this is our data now that is already replicated, and now we can access the data from a different bucket, which means that your data now is found in a different bucket. Okay, but you uploaded it in a different bucket, it is found now in a different bucket. So if they ask you in an interview question, what are your means of backup, you will say that you use cross-regional replication for your backup. That means one bucket is in one region and another bucket is in a different region. So when data enters inside one bucket, this one is in region A and this one is in region B. When data enters inside this bucket in this region, it is replicated inside this other bucket in another region. All right, so thank you very much. Follow the lessons, do your practice, and then make your notes. It will be better for you to practice and make your notes and have your own explanations. Okay, thank you very much, guys. See you in our next lessons.